Hello! We got some mail, okay? This is from our friends over at Tacom HQ. And if you know what Tacom does, they make some really cool things, including a structured barrel, which definitely tickles my curiosity. But in this box, okay, is a micro Charlie. Okay, now, that basically means, let me get this out. So I'm going to be able to clip this guy onto the front of a scope. And actually what we did was we've machined a Razer Gen 2 sunshade that is in this sucker, okay? And we're going to be stretching out the 22 rimfire in the next couple of weeks, but more on that in a little bit. So thank you Tacom for sending that out. I really look forward to playing with that guy. What I want to chat to you guys about today is something that I've been using for a while. Okay, so you know that once a year we make a video where I explain, like, you know, or I don't explain, but I take you through my annual round count. That is something that I did from the very start of me shooting. Okay, and I've written every single round that I've ever shot in this book here. Now, the problem is that it's paper, okay, and it's difficult to track, and I run a spreadsheet and I have to total everything up, and it's annual totals, and it's a bit of a hack, not gonna lie. And sometimes I misplace my little book, and it's also my book that I use for writing down my loads and all of those things. So yeah, anyway, so I decided there must be a better way, and there is a better way. So that is what I want to share with you guys in today's video. Now, you guys will know that I shoot international barrels now, and in fact, I want to show you something, and I have to go grab it, so I'll be right back. I actually can't do that properly because my hand's not so lacquer. There we go. Just practice. Okay. Right. So these are some of the groups that I shot this week, and I'm not good at shooting groups. I'll be the first one to tell you that. So pull the shot there, and then kind of that. These are all 5-round groups, and these are actually groups that I just went to get out the bin, because they weren't even the groups that I decided to take and run with for this weekend's upcoming match. Now, in fact, I do have my group in here, the final one that I did decide to take. I'm going to hold everything close, because you don't need to see that. And some people say, like, Pete, why don't you show us your loads? It's because that goes against YouTube's acceptable use policy, and I don't want to get into trouble with them because, you know, this is my business. Anyway, okay, so the app I want to tell you guys about is the International Barrels Shot Counter app. Now, I've been working with the guys over at IBI developing the app, and I'm actually going to pull up the app for us here and do a little bit of a screen recording so I can take you guys through how super cool this app is. So if I search just for the app, we're going to open it up, and you will see off the get-go that I've already added 3 rifles, and you can see I've got 41 rounds through SAM, which is the rifle you guys see behind me featuring the carbon fiber barrel. Okay, then I've got 453 rounds down my my dasher, which I haven't even been shooting that rifle for longer than a month. So that's been a little bit of trigger happiness. And then I've got my Howard 223 Remington in here also, which is a staple on the channel, and that has 1,047 rounds down the pipe. Now I'm going to take you through the whole process of setting up a new rifle, and there's some really cool features in here that I can't actually track in my book. I guess I can, but it would be very difficult to do so, so this is going to be the option going forward. I'll probably still use the book as redundancy, maybe. Probably old habits die hard, but it is really cool to use the app. Now, if you haven't kept track of all your rounds to date in a form like this, then that's also okay. You can start doing that now. It's a really valuable tool just because you can monitor what your barrel tendencies are. And if you have been monitoring your round count so far, you can actually retrospectively update that and actually put in the dates of your range sessions if you did write that down. So let's start by hitting the little plus sign at the top and enter a new rifle. So let's call this test rifle. Okay, and we will enter the number of shots currently on the action. Now, what's really cool about the app is it actually tracks the number of shots on your action as well as the number of shots on your barrel. So if you have multiple barrels that you shoot on the same action, you can actually track both, which is really handy. So let's say the action is brand new, and I'm gonna put in here it is a bat machine igniter action. Okay, and I'm going to go next. In fact, you could put that in here too, like I did with the other. So let's go igniter. Okay, and we go next. Okay, now it's going to ask me to choose an actual barrel. Okay, and in this case, I'm going to add a new barrel to the mix, and we'll say, let's say this is going to be, I don't know, a 223, like I'm going to end up doing on the igniter, or I have done. So 223, and I'm going to go IBI. And this is just for me so that I know which barrel is what. You can name them however. If you've got barrels with serial numbers on this, might be a good spot to put in the serial number. So I'm going to go bed 223, and it's a 1 in 6.5 twist. Now, if you've already taken your rifle out and you have group sizes, you can say, listen, okay, the rifle is currently shooting 0.5 MOA, or whoops, 0.5. Current number of shots on the barrel, let's say I have taken it out and done initial load development. And let's say I have 25 shots on the barrel. And I generally shoot about 200 rounds before cleaning my rifle. So I'll slap in 200 there. And because it's a 223, let's say I'm going to shoot it pretty aggressively, okay? In other words, I'm training a lot with it. I'm shooting, 10 round strings, relatively quick succession of each other. So let's say I'm not expecting the world's barrel life from it. So let's go conservatively and say, with that sort of style of shooting, I'll get 3,500 rounds. And I'm going to go next. Okay. Now it's giving me the option to either enter factory ammunition, which is not really something we do here because it's very expensive to shoot factory ammo. Or if I tap on this little, on the other section, in fact, I have to tap skip on the top. And now I can enter my reload. So if I added here, I'm going to shoot, let's say I'm going to shoot the 85.5 grain long range hybrid targets from Berger. I'm going to shoot Lapua brass. My brass length, I don't have that off the top of my head, but let's just say, for example, when I start my load development, it's going to be 1.25. Primer is CCI 450s. Powder is Varget, and my powder charge is going to be, I don't know, let's thumb suck. This is not a powder charge, so don't use this number. So let's just say it's 22 grains. My projectile is the Berger, as we said earlier. I like to capture the projectile actually at the top too, the long range hybrid target, but we're going to go 85.5. My cartridge overall length, again here, this is not an actual number. I could actually look this up, but without stepping on YouTube's toes, let me see here what my cartridge overall length is. Now here, because I measure base to ogive, I don't actually measure from the back to the top of the bullet's overall length. I am putting in my base to ogive measurement. Now, remember that because you might get confused if later, you're doing it differently between different calibers. So I'm going to go base to ogive, which for me is 1.833. Okay. The velocity I'm running here on these guys to 750. My jump is usually 0.002, so 20 thousandths worth of jump. And I've got no factory ammo left. So let's say I've shot, or I've got no reloaded ammo left. So let's say I've shot out all my reloaded ammo. Go next, and I can click done. So now we've basically set up our new test rifle. We've got 25 shots on the barrel at the moment. And what's really cool now is that every time I go out, and let's say I shot, first of all, let's say I was going to reload now. So I'm going to go into my rifle, I'm going to go edit, okay, and I'm going to say my reloaded ammo that I now have is because I loaded 50 rounds last night, for example. I'm going to add that, scroll down and click done. My phone's on silent, but it actually makes a really cool, let me change that again. It actually makes a really cool sound. So if I go 55, it does that really cool sound effect, which I really like. So now I've known that I've got 55 rounds loaded for this rifle. Now this could be pretty handy if you're hunting, for example. If I go out and I zero my rifle for a hunt, or I go hunting and I come home, I've shot 20, so it automatically shows you, right, you have now got 25 rounds left, because I do believe we changed it to 55. Okay, so if we now went and had a range session, we go into our rifle again. We'd go add shots, and let's say we shot some reloaded ammo, so it actually gives you that option. So we shot reloaded ammo, and we went hunting, and we shot, 20 rounds. You can have advanced logging, which is pretty cool. You can tick that on and off. You can say, is it a match, practice, was it hunting? And that's just for me sort of, at the end of the match or at the end of the year, you can say, okay, this is how many practice sessions I had, this is how many hunts I had, this is how many matches I shot. It just makes it cool to, more data is always quite handy. So I'm going to go hunting, boom, tick that, and then, just tap to get out of that. And if I really wanted to, I could say I was hunting in the Karoo, and then I'm going to go add shots, and it's going to do this sound effect, which is really cool. And automatically it's going to show me I now have 35 reloads left. What's also cool about this, we have access to the boom log. So if you hit this little tab at the top here, you will actually see how much you've shot throughout the year. And here you'll see all of my sort of sessions that I have cataloged. And you can actually go into them, see the date, what sort of ammo were you shooting, how many rounds did you fire. It's really cool, and I like that. It's also going to give you a reminder when you need to clean your rifle, okay, if your app is up to date. So if you've shot, oh, please, let me have saved that screen recording. Yes, okay, cool. It's also going to give you reminders, as soon as you log close to your 200 round cleaning interval, your app's going to prompt you, hey, you need to clean your 223, or hey, you need to, clean X rifle. And that's really handy. I like to clean my rifles though every time I come back from the range. With my 223 specifically, I'm a little bit lazy with regards to that. What's also cool is you'll be able to see how much barrel life you've got remaining. Okay, so if I'm only going to get 3,000 rounds out of a 6.5 Creedmoor, at about 2,000 rounds, you need to start making a plan to get another barrel going. It's also really cool. It allows you to have multiple barrels and switch the barrels between rifles on the same action. So if you've got a match barrel and a practice barrel, for example, then you can track the round count on both of those barrels relatively easily, whereas with this, it could get a little bit confusing. Anyway, guys, I'm going to link the app down below. IBI, the barrels are shooting wonderful. Everybody that I've spoken to that also shoot them are super happy. Bruce from Bat Machine, who actually chambers my guns for me, was incredibly happy with the barrels, so I'm over the moon. I think it's an awesome app. I like having data at my fingertips, and it's just, it's a cool way to track our things. And if you guys have ideas for the app and you want to have more features added to that, make sure you let me know in the comments down below what kind of stuff you would like to see in the app, and I can chat to them and see how we could make it better to really build an awesome solution for us to track how much we're shooting. And obviously, you don't need an IBI barrel to use the app. It's a completely free app. Anyway, guys, I want to thank our friends over at MDT. Side note, the guy who owns International Barrels or started International Barrels is also the same guy who started MDT, Modular Driven Technologies, who, as you guys know, is my chassis of choice, and they make it possible for us to make videos like this one. So I want to give a huge shout out to them. If you want to pump out your rifle like the one you see behind me, head on over to mdttac.com. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.